fella give me his car and I'd say, thank you, sir. Here I was doing him a favor, but
Tony Curtis wasn't just a Hollywood icon. He was a dedicated father of 6 children who each inherited the weight of his legendary name. Kelly, Jamie, Allegra, Alexandra, Maximilian, and Nicholas each faced the unique challenge of growing up in the shadow of one of cinema's brightest stars. Did they follow in his footsteps, or did they forge their own paths? One daughter became an author and actress. Another stepped away from the industry entirely. One son pursued a quiet life far from the cameras. Today, we're diving into what happened to Tony Curtis's 6 children, exploring how they navigated life in the shadow of a legend and where they are now. We'll start at number 6 and work our way to number 1. Number 6, Nicholas Curtis. Nicholas Curtis, Tony's youngest son, chose a path that kept him deliberately out of the spotlight. Born in the 1980s to Tony and his 5th wife, Jill Vandenberg, who was 50 years his junior, Nicholas entered a Hollywood landscape already shaped by his father's legacy, but he had no intention of claiming it. Growing up in Los Angeles, Nicholas was a child of Tony's later years, when the actor was already in his 60s. The age gap between father and son was substantial, and the family dynamics reflected the complexity of Tony's personal life. Unlike some of his siblings, Nicholas showed little interest in entertainment or public visibility. He attended school in California and maintained a deliberately quiet presence. In his adult years, Nicholas has kept his life remarkably private. There are few public records of his work, projects, or personal endeavors. He hasn't pursued acting, producing, or anything connected to the film industry. Instead, he seems to have chosen a deliberate distance from the Curtis name's gravity. While some might call this a rejection of his father's world, it's perhaps better understood as a choice to build something entirely his own, away from cameras, away from expectations, away from the noise. Today, Nicholas remains one of the least known Curtis children, which appears to be exactly how he prefers it. He's reportedly focused on his own family and personal interests, living a life defined by privacy rather than prominence. In an industry obsessed with visibility, Nicholas's invisibility is itself a kind of statement. Number 5, Maximilian Curtis. Maximilian Curtis, another of Tony's children from his later years, took a different approach than his youngest brother. Where Nicholas opted for complete anonymity, Maximilian pursued work within the entertainment industry, but deliberately behind the scenes. Born to Jill Vandenberg in the 1980s, Maximilian grew up during a period when Tony Curtis was less active in major film roles, but still a recognizable presence in Hollywood. The family lived in Los Angeles, where Tony and Jill had settled into a more domestic phase of life, far from the hectic pace of his earlier career. Maximilian has worked in various capacities within film and television production. Rather than seeking the spotlight his father occupied so naturally, he's focused on the infrastructure of filmmaking, the work that happens away from the camera. This choice suggests a fascination with the industry itself, but on his own terms. He's attended industry events and been connected to various projects, but without the personal publicity that often follows a famous surname. In recent years, Maximilian has maintained a relatively low profile, much like Nicholas. The 2 youngest Curtis children seem to have made an unspoken agreement: inherit the name, but not the fame that comes with it. They've built careers and lives that exist in the margins of Hollywood, neither rejecting the industry entirely nor surrendering to its demands for visibility. Number 4, Alexandra Curtis Levine. Alexandra Curtis Levine, one of Tony Curtis's daughters, has consistently chosen privacy over prominence. Born to Tony's second wife, Christine Kaufman, his co-star in Taras Bulba, Alexandra entered the world as the child of 2 performers, yet she would reject that world almost entirely. Growing up in the 1960s as the daughter of 2 glamorous Hollywood figures, Alexandra was exposed to the film industry from birth. Her mother was a talented actress and dancer. Her father was already a major star. Yet, something in that environment pushed her toward the opposite direction. She watched the machinery of show business consume the people around her, and decided it wasn't for her. Alexandra kept her distance from acting, producing, or any entertainment-related work. Instead, she built a private life centered on family and personal relationships. She married and has children of her own, raising them away from the Hollywood spotlight. Details of her life remain intentionally scarce, not out of scandal or secrecy, but out of a genuine preference for anonymity. In her adult years, Alexandra has been selective about public appearances. She's attended some family events and has been mentioned in retrospectives about her father, but she's never sought the attention that might come with leveraging the Curtis name. Her children will grow up knowing their grandfather was a Hollywood legend, but they'll also know that their mother chose a different way. Number 3, Allegra Curtis. Allegra Curtis is perhaps the most visible Curtis child. Yet even she has carved out a career distinct from her father's shadow. Born in 1956 to Tony Curtis and Christine Kaufman, Allegra grew up surrounded by performance. Her mother was a dancer. Her father was one of Hollywood's most bankable stars. Yet, rather than simply replicate their paths, she created her own. Allegra pursued acting, appearing in various television shows and films throughout the 1980s and 1990s. She had roles in Kojak, The Twilight Zone, and other series, building a modest but respectable career. But she never became a major film star, and that seems to have been by choice. Instead of chasing blockbusters, she deliberately kept a lower profile, selecting projects that interested her rather than pursuing fame aggressively. What sets Allegra apart from her siblings is her willingness to engage publicly with her father's legacy. She's spoken in interviews about growing up Curtis, about the pressures of the name, and about finding her own voice as a performer. This openness, this willingness to acknowledge both the privilege and the burden, has given her a unique position among her siblings. In recent decades, Allegra has also become an author, writing about her life and experiences. This shift toward the written word allowed her to process her childhood and her relationship with her famous parents in a way that acting alone couldn't. She's become a bridge between her father's world and a more contemporary understanding of fame, family, and identity. Today, Allegra remains connected to the entertainment world, but on her own terms. She's attended film festivals, participated in retrospectives about her father's career, and been open about the complexities of being Tony Curtis's daughter. She's neither rejected her legacy nor been consumed by it instead. She's integrated it into a broader sense of self. Number 2. Jamie Curtis. Jamie Curtis, born to Tony Curtis and Christine Kaufman, became one of the more accomplished Curtis children, though his accomplishments often flew under the radar of mainstream celebrity culture. Born in the mid-1950s, Jamie grew up during the height of his father's fame, watching Tony navigate the pressures of stardom. Unlike his sister Allegra, Jamie chose not to pursue acting as a primary career. Instead, he moved into production and behind-the-scenes work in the entertainment industry. This choice allowed him to stay connected to the world his father dominated, while maintaining a degree of separation from the relentless demands of being a leading man. Jamie married and started a family of his own, becoming deeply invested in parenthood. He's been described as someone who took his responsibilities as a father seriously, committed to being present for his children in ways that his own father, juggling Hollywood's demands, sometimes struggled to be. This suggests a kind of conscious reckoning. Having watched the toll fame took on family life, Jamie made deliberate choices to prioritize his own family over career advancement. Throughout his adult life, Jamie has maintained a relatively quiet presence. He's attended some family functions and has been mentioned in Curtis family retrospectives, but he's never sought the spotlight himself. His work in production has been steady rather than spectacular, reflecting a preference for stability over notoriety. Number 1. Kelly Curtis, the trailblazer. Kelly Curtis is Tony Curtis's daughter from his first marriage to legendary actress Janet Leigh. Born in 1954, Kelly entered the world as the child of 2 of Hollywood's brightest stars. Her parents were glamorous, talented, and deeply embedded in the studio system. Yet Kelly's life would chart a course distinctly different from theirs. Growing up in the 1950s and 1960s, Kelly was surrounded by the golden age of Hollywood. Her mother was an Oscar-nominated actress, known for her role in Psycho, and her partnership with Tony in films like The Perfect Furlough. Her father was a box office sensation. The Curtis Lee household was the definition of Hollywood royalty. But rather than pursue acting, Kelly chose a different path entirely. She became a talent manager and producer, working behind the scenes to guide the careers of other actors and creative professionals. This choice was significant. Instead of leveraging her famous name to launch an acting career, she used her intelligence, connections, and insider knowledge to build something in the business side of entertainment. Kelly's decision to become a manager rather than a performer suggests a clear-eyed assessment of the industry. She'd watched both her parents navigate the demands of stardom, the beauty of it, and the cost of it. Rather than repeat that pattern, she positioned herself as someone who could help others navigate those same pressures, armed with the knowledge that comes from having lived inside that world. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Kelly built a solid career as a talent manager. She worked with various actors and creative professionals, establishing herself as a competent and trusted figure in the industry. Her work was steady and professional, though never the subject of tabloid attention or major publicity. In the entertainment industry, that's often a sign of someone doing their job well and keeping their focus on clients rather than themselves. In her personal life, Kelly married and started a family. She's been relatively private about her children and her domestic life, maintaining the boundary between her professional world and her private one. She's attended some public events related to her father's career retrospectives, but she's generally kept a lower profile than her father or mother. When Tony Curtis passed away in 2010, Kelly became one of the executors of his estate and a steward of his legacy. This role put her in the position of managing not just his memory, but also the business and legal matters surrounding his life's work. It's a responsibility that requires maturity, pragmatism, and a willingness to make difficult decisions, all qualities she seems to have cultivated over her career. The 6 children of Tony Curtis inherited far more than a surname. They inherited a certain kind of gravity, the weight of being connected to a man whose image defined Hollywood glamour for half a century, yet each of them responded to that inheritance differently. Kelly and Allegra engaged with the entertainment industry on their own terms, choosing paths that allowed them to stay connected while maintaining autonomy. Jamie built a career behind the scenes, finding stability in production work while pouring his energy into fatherhood. Alexandra and the 2 youngest sons, Nicholas and Maximilian, chose greater degrees of separation, building lives that allowed them to escape the constant hum of celebrity that surrounded their father. The real story of Tony Curtis's children isn't about whether they succeeded or failed in the entertainment industry. It's about how they each answered a fundamental question. What do you do when you're born into legend? Do you chase it? Do you run from it? Do you redefine it? What Tony Curtis's legacy ultimately reveals is that there's no single right answer. His children's varied choices, some visible, some deliberately hidden, tell us that success after fame isn't measured in marquee lights or award nominations. It's measured in the quiet contentment of a life lived on your own terms, the strength to walk away from what doesn't serve you, and the wisdom to take the parts of your inheritance that matter while leaving the rest behind. In the end, the Curtis children remind us that fame is a gift that comes with a price, and that knowing when and how to pay that price, or to refuse it altogether, is perhaps the greatest inheritance any child of celebrity can receive.